Hello and welcome back. In the last lesson, we created this single column of images, but I think it would benefit from having multiple columns, especially when the page is very wide. If we narrowed it down to just like this, then sure, one image would make sense. But what I'd like to do is, as the page widens, for it to display two columns, and then if it's sort of full width on a desktop PC, then it'll display three. So that's actually phenomenally easy to do. First part of it is just to create a separate div in between the array and the existing container. So I will just put a div in here like this and put the array back in it. Then all I need to do is to add a little bit of Tailwind styling into this div here. So I'll give it a class name like this. And then all I need to do is say columns -3. And when I save this, watch what happens. Immediately it jumps into 3 columns. And if I want to make it responsive to the device or the page width, I can just put LG in front of it like this, meaning a large device should have 3 columns. And I can say a small device with SM will have 2 columns, and the minimum number of columns, no prefix, will be 1. So that will pretty much achieve what we wanted to do. You'll see as I bring it down, eventually it'll go to 2 and then even narrower to 1. So that's a good start. Before we set this width at 3XL, but I think it would benefit from being a little bit wider on a desktop like this. The other thing is, if you notice, the horizontal distance between the images is now different to the vertical distance. So I can standardize that. I'll put the vertical distance at 6, and then I'll tell the columns that I want them to have a gap of 6 between them in the X direction. And as I save that, you can see now that all the distances are the same. One other subtle thing that we ought to attend to is, you see here, each item we're rendering is a div containing an image. At some point in the future, it's conceivable that after the image will be, some sort of title going here, and we would really want these two to be kept together. So there is a setting that does just that. In Tailwind, it's called break inside a void. And by setting that, it'll just hold everything in the div together. So otherwise, we're in a situation where the title could possibly get sort of clipped off here and jump to the top of the next column, which would be highly undesirable. And while we're looking at this div, another setting that would just make it all look a little bit nicer would be if I gave the div rounded corners. The overflow here just says make sure that the image doesn't sort of spill into the rounding. So if I save this, you'll see we've got these nice rounded corners. And what would be nice also would be when I hover the mouse over these images that sort of something happened, just to show which one we're sort of floating over. So there is a very nice setting we can put in for that too. It's called a transition effect. So let me just paste it in and you'll see what happened. I'll save it and show you the effect first. So you can see as I move the mouse over, hopefully you can see that the images just grow a little bit. The settings in Tailwind are a transformation function. When you hover, scale it by 105%. And this duration just says make the effect sort of take half a second between the beginning and the end. So it sort of grows over a period of half a second. So our grid's looking a lot more professional now. But what I would really like is when I hover over the image, not for it to just grow, but to show the title and descriptions, ideally within the photo itself. So we'll attend to that in the next lesson.